Good evening, this is Missy, our oldest corn snake. She's well over a meter long, and she kind of got busy really quick when this mouse was given to her. I set up the camera, unfortunately, after I presented the mouse, so I missed the early part of the feeding here. But you can see, this is interesting always, is how much the neck on the snake stretches in circumference, because you can see how narrow it is now compared to how wide open and stretched it was moments ago. And you can see also what I find interesting here is the mouse, the bulk of the mouse sits still as she swallows it and moves forward. So you're going to see her kind of slither forward, and the mouse, you'll watch, is going to stay pretty much right where it is, positioned above the ground, so to speak, as she swallows it and slithers forward. So I just find that kind of interesting how that works. And you might even see a yawn here. Is she going to give us a yawn? I can't remember. Nope. This is Spartacus, and the male, which we might breed with Missy. He usually will eat no matter what, even if he's about to shed, which he just finished doing. He just completed a shed this morning, but he ate last week, clearly showing signs he was about to shed. And he usually will actually strike it, pull it down, look at it a bit, maybe he'll crawl around it, let go of it, then look for the nose. I don't know that he's eaten any from the wrong end. The other snakes have pretty much all eaten one from the wrong end. And this is Smoke. He is the first one we got. He had a brother named Fire, but as you might know from watching other videos, you're aware Fire escaped and died. Basically dehydration. He went to the basement of all places, and there wasn't enough water for him to survive. So this is the only remaining snake of the two that we got originally. And Smoke is doing this thing that we find amusing, is he will get a hold of the food and then hold it up above the ground, and kind of, it almost seems like sometimes gravity assist. He'll hold it up higher sometimes. Missy as well, like tip their head upright, pointing straight up. In this case, he's not pointing his head up so much, but he's got his food lifted up off the ground and swallowing it. And here's the yawn. Get the hinges back in place in the jaw. And this is Swedgin, kind of a colorful guy. He shed, I guess, a couple of weeks ago. And I haven't measured him recently, but he's grown quite a bit. Well, as long as you feed them, they'll keep growing. I was reading about this recently. If you stop feeding them enough, they'll slow down in the growth or stop growing, but it's not really good for them. They will keep growing through their whole life until they hit whatever their genetically max size potential is, as long as they're getting food. There's the yawn to align the jaw. And we didn't have a big hopper to give him, so we're giving him two smaller hoppers. And he doesn't hesitate to eat the second one. Pretty good appetite in this guy. And here's the head held high eating technique. And you can see the jaw is kind of flexible. The left or right side can be closed farther than the other side, and very flexible. I find that kind of interesting. I guess we're used to our jaw being so solid. And there's the yawn to align the hinge in the jaw. This is Igbo Ka, the ball python, and he is a voracious eater, and he also tends to carry on as if his prey, his food, is wrestling and fighting to get away. But this is a frozen thawed mouse, and he's carrying on like it's trying to escape, and he generally wraps it up and constricts it. The other ones, the corn snakes, don't necessarily do that. We can encourage the corn snake to wrap, and sometimes they do it in a spectacular way if we kind of hang on to the prey and wiggle it after they've struck. But this guy will carry on wrapping it and rolling and tumbling with it even when you let go of it right after he strikes it, which is kind of interesting. The ball python, as you might have noticed, tends to have a thicker body with a very narrow neck, and I guess that's just a function or a feature of the species. And another feature of the species seems to be their docile, kind of quiet nature. the Queen of Egypt was known for keeping a ball python wrapped around her wrist as jewelry, so I guess that's a testament to how docile they are. Although they will, once they get eating, they'll, if you stick your hand in there, they may mistake your finger or your hand for more food. So you got to be careful of that. But when they're not in the middle of eating, they're pretty quiet. They'll sit still and not do much. This guy's still playing with his food. In the end, I guess I don't show that. I think I edited it out. But in the end, he eats this one from the rear end. But I couldn't get a good shot of it because he kept coiling around it. So here's his second half of his meal. And you'll see he doesn't really take a moment to hesitate at all. He goes right after it. Now right there, just for a moment, and you'll see it again, you see this area in the bottom of his jaw that doesn't seem to have scales on it. I'm not sure if that's just him or if other ball pythons share that as well, but just noticed that today when I was shooting the video. And I think I cut this off and go to the final stage of his feeding to show you. He does the same lift up his head and kind of semi-gravity assist swallow process as well, sometimes anyway. If I don't take him out of the sometimes he curls himself up in a the inner core of a paper towel tube, you know, the cardboard tube on the inside. He likes to hide in that, so sometimes when I go to feed him, if I haven't got him all the way out of that, as soon as he gets a hold of the prey, he'll pull everything inside the tube and I won't even see him eat. He'll just do it from within the hiding spot. But today I put him in the bin, and here you can see he's pretty much done, and he will pop his head up and finish off the swallow with everything up in the air, so to speak. And then I think he even gives us a little bit of a yawn to put his jaw back into alignment. And there you can see that flexible jaw. Left and right side can be independently open or closed. And we're almost done. Iggy. There you go. And quickly, just down the throat, and you'll see his throat, his neck area will resume its really thin look. The stretch factor on these guys, necks, throats, their skin in general is kind of amazing. When you hold them, you don't really perceive them to be that stretchy, but as you can see, lots of room for expansion when they're swallowing food. And I guess that's about it. I'll hook this video up to the audio and post it shortly. Have a good evening, and we'll of course be talking to you tomorrow.